Hey guys, I'm so happy to be back. I know it's been a little bit. I took some time off. I went traveling. I was in Europe, had a fantastic time. I'm back all settled and excited to be here and to share all about, my travels and where I went and the beautiful yarn store I visited in all my acquisitions. So let's get right into this fun episode. Let's start with my finished object. And so I am wearing the Thea top, and this is from Susanne Muller. She goes by Paula Strict on Instagram, I believe. This little top I am so in love with. I actually casted this off right before I left. And so I just kind of it came off my needles. I left it on the side because I actually left the next day. So when I got back, I right away blocked it and, so I could be ready to wear. I actually, when I was working on this, I was so close to finish that I wanted to get it blocked. I wanted to take it with me because it was such a cute, practical tank top. And I figured this would go so well with so many of my outfits, but I wasn't able to block it and it wouldn't dry on time because like I said, I ended up, between getting ready for the trip and all that, I didn't cast off until the day before. So I wasn't able to block it. But anyway, it's blocked now. I am so happy with it. I am wearing it and I am really looking forward to really getting a lot of wear out of this top. I think this is such a cute little practical tank top to wear, all through summer with pretty much anything. I've been styling it with shorts and long skirts and, denim skirts, everything. And it looks fantastic with everything I've kind of put it with. So let's get into the details of this top. I made the size medium and it fits great. And I use Drop Spell. As you guys know, I discovered Drop Spell this summer and completely love it for all my summer knits. And this is the color Sync. The cool thing about this pattern that I love the top, but I love the fact that it only uses one needle. So you use a 4mm needle for the entire thing. So you work the body and the ribbing on one needle, which is fantastic. And I think this is a great little project. If you're traveling and you want to take something, I think this is a great project because it's only one needle. So you don't have to carry a lot of stuff, And for size medium, it's only 5 balls of Drop Spell. And I actually didn't even use all 5. I have some left. The other thing is that I didn't meet the measurements exactly to what the pattern called for. The pre-blocking was, let me see, I have notes here. The pre-blocking was 34 inches, my circumference, and then the armhole was, I think, 8 inches, and then the length from the top, the back, the middle to the bottom was 18 inches. That was pre-blocking. Then after blocking, I got 36 inches on my circumference, and the pattern called for 38. But I think that, now that I've done it, I am so happy with this 36 inch because I feel like I didn't want those extra inches and have to worry about, the bra showing or the armhole being too, this is so great for me. I love it. Also, cotton, summer, plant yarns tend to grow. So that also gives me a little bit of room that if it, stretches or grows, I'm still good. So I got 36 inches on, on the circumference. And let's see, on the arm, I stayed the same 8 inches. It didn't grow. And then on the body length, I got 19 inches. So I got 19 and a half inches. I'm sorry, I'm looking at my notes down here. So I got 19 and a half inches. So I got an inch and a half more in length. Now, the thing is that when I finished, I was I think maybe it's a little too short. But I wasn't really worried about it. I was I'm gonna block it and see what happens. And if I feel that it's too cropped, I have extra yarn that I can undo the bind off and add the extra yarn. So it's not a big deal. But anyway, when I blocked it and I'm wearing it and I'm styling it, I love, 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 love the length. I am not gonna undo the bind off. I am not gonna add any more yarn. I love how it fits because like I mentioned before, my torso is kind of short. So I always have to modify 2 things in my tops. I always have to modify the length for my body and also the sleeves because my arms aren't that long. So I always modify those 2 things. On this case, obviously I didn't have to do that. There's no sleeves, but the body, I was very kind of like, I'm always very aware of that. I'd rather go shorter than longer. It worked out great that I made that decision. And I will put, you know, videos and pictures and everything for you guys so you guys can see what I'm talking about. The length is like perfect for me. I love it. This top I had on my list since last summer and I was dying to make this and I didn't get to. So finally this summer it was on my, you know, on my list to make this summer. And I'm so glad that I actually cast it on and made it. And I would like totally make another, like a few more. I think these are like great classic little pieces. They're never gonna go out of style. And you can not only use it during summer, but I think this is an all year round little top because you can do like, you can layer like a blazer or sweater or, you know, like a cardigan, you know, button down shirt. You can do a lot of things with it. So you can wear it all year round. If I were to do this again, I think I would do like a black and that would be really, really fantastic. The construction is very easy, but also her pattern is so detailed, you guys. She like details everything. She has pictures, she has links to videos, she explains everything. So like you're not wondering, oh, what does she mean by this or what should I do? And if you've never done that step, you have images and you have videos, so you're good. All the ribbing, which I don't know if you guys can tell, and I'll put pictures and video and everything. I love how all the ribbing came out, how it sits flat on my shoulders, on my neck, everything, because she has you do a tubular bind off, but also with the setup rows. And it just creates this beautiful, clean, you know, really nice stable finish on all your pieces. And again, she tells you, you know, it's recommended. You can do whatever bind off you want. I know that it's a little bit of an, you know, extra work, but guys, it's so worth it. Like if you do this top, like go ahead and do exactly what she tells you for the tubular bind off because it's just gonna turn out beautiful. And then once you block it, it's even nicer. And so I am super, super happy with this little project, how it turned out, how comfortable it is. I have a lot of room. It's this fabric, the drop spell, creates such a nice fabric. So this is just like a beautiful top. Very easy to make, I feel. You know, has a lot of little moving parts. So you're gonna have like, you know, there's a lot of cutting yarn and attaching yarn again, and you know, the provisional cast on, and then, you know, putting live stitches here and putting live stitches on hold. And so there's a lot of little moving parts and you're gonna have a lot of like loose ends, but it's nothing that you can manage. And it's so worth it. And at the end, you are gonna have a couple of, you know, loose ends to weave in, which is always not that fun. But I don't know about you guys, but when I do my projects, I like to weave in as I go. It's just my thing. Just like if I'm working a sweater, I like to do the collar as soon as possible because I don't know, it's something like for me, it looks really good and finished. And when I try it on, it kind of motivates me to kind of like get through the rest of the project. And so I also go weaving in as I go because then when I'm done, I'm done. And that's such a good feeling. So that's like my strategy. And you know, I recommend it because it's such a satisfying feeling when you're done, and you can just go ahead and block your top and then you're good to go. I highly recommend this pattern. I think it's just a great classic piece to add to your knitwear collection. You're gonna get a lot of use out of it. I updated my Ravelry. I have all my details there and, you know, all my measurements and what I use. So you can feel free to check that out as well. As I mentioned, I traveled a few weeks through Europe and I wanted to bring with me, you know, obviously a project to knit on, but first of all, I only pack carry-on. I am a very light traveler. I like to be able to move with ease. And so I always just have like my carry-on and like a tote or a book bag, and that's it. So I needed to be strategic of what I was gonna bring as far as a project to knit on. And also I knew that I wanted to like buy yarn overseas, so I had room for that. So I opted for a pair of socks. Socks are a small, easy, I feel, travel project because you only need like one skein, one pair of needles, and if it's anywhere, you can always have it with you and just kind of like, you know, knit up a couple of rows here and there. So when I was trying to decide, what yarn I wanted to bring, I had bought from Sorella yarn from the library collection. I had fallen in love with the memoir speckled skein, and I knew that I wanted to make some DK socks with that. And so she also had a mini collection that would have all the colors of the speckles. So I bought that as well because I thought I wanted to do, the sock in the speckle yarn, but I wanted to add some of the mini colors into it to kind of highlight the speckles. So I ended up bringing, this is Memoir, and this is a gorgeous, gorgeous yarn. It's again classic DK, and it's an 80, I believe an 80-20. Let me see, I have the little thing here. No, actually I am wrong. This is classic DK by Sorella, and it is 100% superwash merino wool. It comes in 100 grams skein, and it's 231 yards. So, and it's called Memoir. This was from the library collection, and it's this beautiful, beautiful yarn that it's like a cream based color, but then it has like purple, pinks, blue, light blue, green. Like, it's just gorgeous. I loved it. And so I was like, I know I want to make some socks with this, so let me just cake this up and I can take it. And then I was like, oh, but I wanted to add some of the minis to like bring out the speckles. And I ended up bringing this, I don't know the name because it's it was like a little mini collection, and it was the non-fiction. So she had two mini collections. One was the fiction, and then the other one was the nonfiction. The nonfiction had the blues and the greens, and I think the fiction had like the hot pink and the purples. So I ended up getting this one, and so I wanted to add this, so I brought that. And then I brought this mini in a sky blue. It's so pretty. And then this intense blue for the, to kind of bring out the speckles in the yarn. And I thought that was really fun, and it was still small, that it wouldn't take a lot of space in my bag. And I just brought it in my little pouch that I actually made. This little pouch, it was like my first ever sewn box little pouch, and first time adding a zipper. And I actually love this little thing. I use it all the time for small projects like, gloves or hats or socks. And so I ended up taking this with me, and it would fit in my tote wherever I went, and it was great. And I have like all my little things in there that I needed. So you see in this little thing I took, was a little gift from Yarnia, one of my local yarn shops during Wool Walk that I did, I don't know, a couple of years back. And this came in so handy because whenever I use like a small, like this or any other small thing, I add, anything that I need in here. And as you can see, I have my little DPNs in there. I have tiny DPNs. These are, let me just take some out so you can see them. Oh, hold on, give me a second. Look how pretty. So these are 4 inches DPNs, and these are beautiful and soft. They're from Knit Picks. I love their needles. And I have longer ones, but I love the small ones for small, like, circumference. So these are great when I do the Kitchener stitch on my socks. When I get to that part of the heel that is really tight, I switch to this because I work on 9-inch circulars. So I have found that using the long DPNs, it was a mess. They would get tangled and hitting each other, and it was hard to maneuver. But these are just great, and they come in like 4 inches, 5 inches, or something like that. I ended up getting the 4 inches, and also like when you do like the crowns of a hat, these are fantastic because they're small. So anyway, I ended up, adding whatever I needed here, and I have my tiny scissors and my little, stitch markers. Everything in here fits perfect. It created such a gorgeous sock. I am so in love. So let me show you how gorgeous this sock turned out. Look at the colors, you guys, how beautiful this is. So I ended up doing like the intense blue on top, and then I did the light blue on the toes, and I kept the heel the same color. I am so in love with this yarn. And so I ended up doing the DK 2x2 rib sock from the Sock Project book, and that book is by Summer Lee, and she goes by Summer Lee Knits on Instagram, and she also has a podcast on YouTube. And I love like all her socks. They're super fun. The book is so great. And so she has, she has a pair of 2x2 DK weight socks on that book. The only thing is they're just like, I believe one color, and then maybe just like the toes are a different color. I wanted to, to do a color here and do the color on the toes. And then I believe she did like another heel on that. But I wanted to do, because I was traveling, I figured it would be so easy and practical for me to just do an afterthought heel, because then I didn't have to stop and think. I can just kind of knit my, my tube, do my toes, and then, eventually do the heel. I could have like chose to do it there, or I could have just like left it like that and cast it on my second one, and then, did both heels when I got home. So I just felt like it was like such a easy way to, to target my socks. I finished this entire sock. Oh my God, guys, look how pretty this is. Let me just, you could see, look how cute. And the toes, the decreases look so pretty as well. And I love it, love it, love it. Let me just pull it up so you guys can see. Haha, it looks funny. But anyway, I want to just, because with 2x2 rib, you need to like stretch it so you can really appreciate the yarn. So look how cool that is, you guys. So pretty. I love them. And look at the afterthought heel. It's so cool. I love the construction of this heel. And the other thing that I wanted to share was that I made this one, right? And I only got to do this much. I mean, it's almost done. I have to just kind of like finish a little bit more of the foot, and then I can do the toes, and then I can put in the afterthought heel. But you see what I meant? I didn't have to worry. I could just kind of keep knitting, and I just kind of marked where I wanted my heel, and then I just kind of keep knitting. So I feel like it's really easy, and you don't have to be worrying about, adding the heel. You might be out and maybe you don't have the needles, or maybe you don't even want to think about that. I don't know. But anyway, for me, it was like easy and simple to do that. So I did this much. So like I said, I'm going to finish it probably like tonight, just the toes and the heel, and then I can block them. I cannot wait to wear these. But what I did notice was that I am so glad I only brought this one project, because honestly, I was having so much fun. I was, sightseeing, walking, sitting, people watching, just like, hanging out with friends. Like I was so kind of like focused on on really taking in the experience that I honestly didn't knit that much. I would knit once in a blue moon. I would say that most of the knitting happened on all the flights that I took and on the trains that I took. I honestly, I don't know, maybe in one of the cafes for a little bit, I knitted, even though I always had this project with me. I found myself just being very like entertained and kind of living the moment, and I didn't really knit. So I'm really glad that I didn't think of like, oh, let me bring an extra project because I might be done and then I'll get to that one, because that would have not happened. And look, as you can see, I didn't even finish this set. I mean, it's almost finished because socks are pretty quick. I feel that this was perfect, and these socks will always remind me of that adventure. So I'm just really happy with this, and they're gorgeous. I love this yarn, and I love the combination. I cannot wait to really block them and see them like really grow, because 2x2 rib tends to squish, and then when you block it, it like expands, so you could really appreciate the speckles in the yarn. But I'm so happy with this project and with this yarn. She does the most beautiful colorways, and her collections are just gorgeous. So I know it's expensive, and I treat myself here and there to usually like a sock set, and then I get like my fix. I love speckle yarn, and I love speckle yarn for like hats and socks. So I treated myself to this, and I'm so happy. And I have the other minis to add to like other skeins that I have. So this is something that, I really enjoy doing. I love making socks. It can seem intimidating, but it's not. It's easy, and it's super, super fun. And every time that I've made a couple, and it doesn't matter how many times I make socks, the process, it's always like magic. seeing the heel or like doing the toes, you know, it's just like super fun to see that. And it doesn't, I'm so glad that for me, that excitement remains every time I do my socks and I get to those, you know, to those moments. I really look forward to doing like the heels and the toes because of that. The next project that I have, my next whip, so I casted on the Sabai top. I love this top. This is by Paula Strict. She goes by Paula Strict. Her name is Susanne Muller. And again, she's the same one that designed the TheaTop. I love all her designs. There's so many that I want to make. But look at how beautiful the yarn is working up. This is the black for drop spell. It's just beautiful, beautiful. And basically, this is, I'm working on the front of the top. And then you can see here I have the back stitches on hold. So this is a boat neck top, which it's the first time that I do a boat neck top. And I'm really looking forward to having this in my knitwear collection. And I think I am definitely gonna get a lot of use out of this. And that's why I wanted this in black, because I can totally like dress this up and dress it down. And this is just a beautiful, beautiful top, beautiful pattern. Again, the pattern is super, super detailed. And the cool thing is she gives you 2 tops in this pattern. So basically you can make the top like this with like no finishing, you know, just kind of straight from the cast on, which I love. Or you can actually do it. This is the number 2. So it's number 1 and number 2. This is number 2. The number 1 has a 1x1 rib here. And I believe it has it on the bottom as well. I haven't really looked at that one in detail, but it's cool to get, you know, 2 tops for the price of 1, and they're both really beautiful. You can already tell how good this is gonna be. This is gonna be such a nice top. So let's talk a little bit about, you know, the construction. You just cast on with a long tail cast on. And when you do that, you wanna be like really neat, because that's gonna be your finishing for, you know, around your neck. So I was very like mindful when I did my cast on to be like super neat and to like all my little cast on stitches to be even because of that reason. And then you pretty much are going to work flat. You know, you're working the front and doing increases, simple increases, you know, make one left and make one right. Because you're coming in to shape, you see, the arms at the same time. And so here on the edge, you're doing like an I-cord edge at the same time. So basically when I finish this top, I'm gonna be done, which is fantastic. There's no finishing, like you're doing them as you go. So here you see, it's like an I-cord edging that I'm working as I go increasing. So it's really easy to do all of this. I did this, like I casted on, I did this like in a couple of, like in, you know, that night when I casted on, I did all of this. And I've been like busy, so I haven't like worked on it again. But once I finish the front, then I go to do the same step on the back. And then when you're done doing the same to the back, you're going to then join in the round and work the body. And then basically, you know, like I said, once you're done with the body, you know, you'll do like your bind off and you're done with this top. Like how fun is that, right? Isn't that crazy? Like so good and so fast and so satisfying and so beautiful. So I am definitely looking forward to this top being done. If you haven't seen this top, or you know, definitely add it to your queue, add it to your must knit, because you're not gonna regret knitting this up. It's so easy, but so elegant and so classy and so beautiful. Also here, look at this beautiful little raglan that you have here. So you do, you know, as you go knitting, you do this little raglan here and here. This you do before you know, you put your back stitches on hold. So basically when you cast on, you're gonna work this little piece here, because you have to do these raglan increases on the top of the shoulders, and then you're gonna put the back on hold, and then you're gonna continue to work the front, doing your your I-cord and your increases to shape, you know, your arms. But this is such a beautiful little detail because it makes the shirt just kind of sit flat here on top of your shoulder, and then you have this beautiful little, you know, single raglan here. I think it's just a beautiful detail. She is so fantastic. I am obsessed with, like, her designs are so clean, so classic, so elegant, but at the same time so practical, and you can like wear them, you know, you can dress them up, you can dress them down, and I think she's such a great designer. So now let's get into acquisitions, and of course that has to do with my trip. So I went, you know, family trip. We went to Portugal and Spain for a couple of weeks. It was fantastic, you guys. We had never been to Portugal, so we really wanted to go visit Lisbon, and it was such a fun city, such a great city. Definitely, you know, if you guys definitely put it on your list because it's a great city, but make sure you have really good walking shoes, and it's all like uphill, and it's just insane. Like, you feel that the city has like levels and you actually can see them. It's just kind of wild, and it's kind of cool at the same time. And they have so many ways of transportations. They have like trams and trolleys, and the regular train, and then the regional trains, and then they have like, you know, the buses. There's like elevated trolleys or elevated, you know, elevator style. So it's just kind of wild that they have all this. And it's a, you know, it's a great city. It's huge. It's such a large city. And we stayed in kind of like, you know, what is called the old city, which is the original part of Lisbon. And so it's, you know, very old and very beautiful. And the blue tiles are just gorgeous everywhere. They're called azulejos. The food is great. The people are super, super nice and friendly. It's a super safe city. We loved it, loved it, loved it. The first few days that we were there, the weather was fantastic. And then Europe was getting like this heat wave. So the last couple of days was like really, really hot. But still, you know, there's a lot of shade because the way the city was built. So there's a lot of shade. And obviously, you know, you can sit anywhere and just have, you know, something cold and just people watch and chill. And it's fantastic. You know, I loved it. And high on my list was visiting Retrosaria Rosa Pomar, which if you're a knitter, you love wool, you know about Rosa Pomar. This is a place that, you know, I think a lot of people have on their must visit. And that was for me a must visit. And I had it on my list to take time out and go to visit the store. So the store is not, it's like in a, you know, in a local neighborhood. So, but it's easy to get to. You could take the tram, you can, you know, you could take Uber is super, super cheap over there. You can take an Uber. The day that I went was one of those days that was really, really hot. And I was gonna get on the tram, and I waited like 5 minutes and I just couldn't. I was like melting, and I was like, okay, let's just take an Uber. So we took an Uber and we went there, and I am telling you, oh, and I walk around with like my fan. I'm fanning myself constantly because, like I said, I can't deal with heat. And it's so funny because after looking back, like all my pictures when I was in the yarn store, it's hilarious because I have my fan with me because in my pictures, because I was constantly fanning myself. I was like so hot. So that was one of the things that I was talking to, you know, the girls there, and we were all laughing because they were like, they weren't sweating, they weren't like super hot, and I was like melting. So it was hilarious. The store is gorgeous. It's very open, and it has like all these beautiful like built-ins high to like the top of the ceiling wood, like dark wood, and just like beautiful little drawers. And they organize their yarn in such a beautifully like aesthetically pleasing way, and you just want to like stay there forever and never leave. Also, like their yarns and their color palettes are so gorgeous, and I loved every second that I was in there. And also they have fabric. I wish I had like space because I would have bought so much more than what I brought back. And the fabric was gorgeous. I didn't have space. They had buttons, they had everything. And the fabric that they have is beautiful. And one of the girls, her name is Deborah. We talked for so long. She helped me with everything and put together colors and for projects that I wanted to make. And she was so helpful. Everybody was super sweet, super helpful. And like I said, I had a wonderful time. And you will see all the, you know, the beautiful yarn. I took some video and some pictures. They were very gracious. They said I could do that, and I will share all of that, and I hope you enjoy it. And also, like I said, definitely put this yarn store on your list if you're ever in Portugal, if you go to Lisbon, because you're gonna love it, love it, love it. And most of you know this yarn, so let me just show you what I got. And it was very difficult to kind of narrow down, because thank goodness I went with like projects, because I wanted everything, and obviously that cannot happen, right? So the first thing that I got, you guys, let me show you. Look at this beauty. I had been wanting to purchase 100% linen, and I found it there. They had so many gorgeous colors. It was so hard to kind of make a decision, but when I saw this color, I fell in love with this color. And I am like so into these beautiful purples. Look at this gorgeous color. It reminds me of my unicorn purple from Knitting for Olive that I just got in that cool yarn store that I found when I went to DC. And so this is 100% linen. It's beautiful. Even though it's linen, it's really soft. And this is Rosários 4. This is called Alfama. And this is from the eco-friendly collection. And this is, like I said, 100% linen. And it's just gorgeous. And let me see if I have a color. The color is 39 because they use numbers. But it's beautiful. I got enough of this to make like a t-shirt. So I'm gonna see. I have some t-shirts in mind. I just have to see. This is DK weight, by the way. I have to see in my library which tops I have that I can work that would be nice to knit up in this linen and in DK weight, so I can like cast on for this summer, because I definitely want to use this summer. So I'll keep you guys posted on what I do with this color. But isn't it gorgeous? I am in love with this color. It's really beautiful. So I got this. And then the next thing that I got was the famous, because of course I needed to get Mondim, and everybody talks highly of this yarn, and I wanted to try this yarn. So I bought one skein, and what I am going to make with this, like I said, I went with patterns. The only thing I didn't have a pattern for was this, because I didn't even know they had linen there. I found this just by coincidence. So I obviously grabbed it, but I, didn't go with a pattern in mind. Anyway, so this is Mondim, this is fingering, and this is 100% Portuguese wool, which I am so happy to have. And this is, let me see. So you see, this is under the Rosa Pomar brand, unlike the linen that was Rosários 4. And I am going to make with these a pair of socks that I have already, that I have the pattern for. And they have this really beautiful cable detail. And so I wanted a yarn that was like in a natural color, so I can actually appreciate the lace, like that lace cable work on the socks. So that's what I'm gonna make with this. The next thing I got was, so I own the pressed flower shawl, and I've been wanting to cast that on forever. I made the socks and I love them. And I love that mosaic detail. It's so beautiful. So anyway, I went with the idea that I wanted to buy yarn there at Rosa Pomar for that shawl. So as soon as I walked in and I went to the drawer where this is Vovo. This is a sport weight yarn, but Deborah told me that this works up to a DK, so it's perfect. So I can use it for the pressed flower shawl. And this color is, let's see here, A573. And again, this is Vovo by Rosa Pomar. It's so beautiful. Look how pretty the label, you guys. Isn't that gorgeous? I love it. It's so, so pretty. And I bought enough for the shawl. And what I'm going to use for the accent color, the little flowers, and I'm hoping that it looks really beautiful, it's going to be this gorgeous, gorgeous yarn. This is again sport weight, and this is like a transitioning color yarn. So I think that, to have the little flowers in this transitioning color and have like that cool, accent kind of like changing colors as I make them. It's gonna be subtle, but it's gonna have contrast. So I thought this was beautiful. And actually I had another color for this. And then Deborah was like, hey, why don't you do this? This would be so fun. And we kind of like, and I was like, oh my God, yes, this would be so fun. I love this. And so the thing with this is that, you can get multiple of these, but they're all gonna be like kind of different colors. So that's kind of the cool thing. So look at this. You see, I got a second one and it has the same colors in it, but in a different sequence. So I am excited to, to work with this and just kind of put it, knit it into this. And I think it's gonna be like really fun. So we'll see what happens because I'm dying to see this color transition into this yarn with those pressed flowers. I think it's gonna be really beautiful. And I hope I'm not wrong. And I am so grateful that Deborah helped me put all of this together because I was like so confused because there were so many beautiful options. They have the most beautiful project bags. And so they make project bags with like the fabrics from their shop. And look at this one that I got. This is for Vovo. So they have them for like all of their yarns. And I thought that was really neat. But this one was like, oh, I fell in love with this one. Look at the one for Vovo. This is just beautiful, beautiful, a beautiful project bag. So the other thing is, look how pretty. Of course, I have to like rip it to put it into my luggage because I couldn't pack it the way they packaged it. But they put it in this beautiful paper bag, all your yarn. And then this beautiful, let me just fold this so you guys can see. Sorry for the noise, but look how beautiful their sticker, Portuguese sheep breeds. You see that? It's so beautiful. And again, I had to just kind of tear it open because I needed to, kind of take all my yarn individually and kind of like spread it out into my luggage. So, but I used the bag to cover the yarn and then put clothes and stuff like that. So I kept it, but I thought that was really neat. And then the other thing that I got one for my daughter. So as a souvenir, she is not home. So she'll be home. She's coming home like Saturday, I think, or something like that. I cannot wait to give her this. So I'm not going to open it because it was packaged for her. And I want her to have the excitement of opening it and being surprised. But this one is sealed. Look how pretty. And in here, I got her the same little bag, not the same, I got her a project bag as well. And, so that way she can have one as a souvenir. And then I also got her a skein of Mondim in one of her favorite colors. So she can kind of make, whatever she wants. She can make a hat, she can make socks, she can make, gloves, whatever she wants. But I cannot wait to give her this on Saturday when she comes home and see her open it, and hopefully she'll love it as much as I did. I had a lot of fun picking it out for her, and I think she's gonna love it. I love it. Okay, so the next thing was that, like I said, I ended up going to Spain, and when I went to Malaga for like my last, well, not my last week, because then after Malaga, I went to Madrid. But when I went to Malaga and I was there for about 7 days, just kind of like, oh, that was so great. Just kind of like, taking in, the Mediterranean Sea and eating fresh seafood and just chilling. It was fantastic. Within like walking distance from me, which I didn't even realize, basically I had 2 yarn stores and like 4 fabric, buttons and zippers and lace and things like that stores. And I couldn't believe it. I ended up seeing these, I don't know, like 2 days before I left. So the one kind of like right next to me, to my hotel, was owned by this older couple. They were super sweet. I ended up not buying anything, but it was really nice. I spent time there. I spoke to them. They were like so sweet. And they're really into like making like summer bags, crocheting summer bags. So they have a lot of beautiful crochet summer bags displayed. And then I ended up going to the second yarn shop that we found, but it was just kind of like by accident because, like I said, I didn't even know there was that yarn store there, just like a couple of blocks from me. But they were going out of business, and I guess they had been doing that now for a little bit. So when I went, there was not much left. Everything was 50% off, you guys, everything. So anyway, I ended up finding this beauty. So I have a couple of these balls and in my stash, and I love, love, love this yarn. So when I was walking around, there was a little shelf and it had these two left. So these were 50% off. So I got them for nothing. I got them for like $3.50 one. So I was like, I'm gonna take them, and that's why they're like all like the labels are like squished, because I put them in, you know, I had to shove them in my little luggage. And so I got these, and I love these colors. This is Rowan brushed fleece, 50 grams. And if you guys have never seen this or touched this, try to find it so you guys can just kind of feel it. It's so, so beautiful and so wonderful. I love this yarn. And I think this would make like such a gorgeous like scarf for, you know, for winter. This would be great for a shrug because it's really fluffy and warm. And I love shrugs. So that's a possibility as well, to use this for a shrug. And I also got that they had their, look at this beauty. This is lamb's wool, 100% lamb's wool. This is made in Spain, from Spain wool. And the brand is called Casasol. And there was only this one left. And I was like, this is meant to be, because I love this color. It's mustard. And I love like mustards, gold, like those golden browns, the creams. Like I love those colors for fall. It was the only one. I was like, I am just gonna take it because I am so in love. And it's so soft and so beautiful and so squishy. I was like, I could maybe make a hat for winter with this. And this is so, so delicious. So I ended up getting this as well. This was like maybe, I think they go for like 11 euros, and I got it for like 5 euros or 5.50, something like that. So this was a good buy. And then I found this, let me see, yeah, here. And then they had, I was so sad she didn't have any more of this. She just sold them. There was only this one left. This is Rowan, and this is cotton cashmere. This is so gorgeous, you guys. The color is beautiful. It's so soft, and it's 50 grams. It's, you know, a blend of cotton and cashmere. So that's what I ended up getting in that store that was going out of business. And I could see how, if I had known about it, maybe when I got there and I had gone, she probably would have had so much more. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because I didn't have space. So I think it worked out that I ended up going kind of like a day before I left, and there was not much left because I was only able to get this. So that's great, because I was able to fit it in my luggage. So that wraps up this episode, and I hope that I've inspired you to cast something new on, and that you enjoyed everything I shared. Thank you so much for watching, and I am excited to share with you guys, you know, my future projects and my finished whips. Thank you so much. Happy knitting. Bye.